Okay. All right, here we go. So I think is this our fourth time meeting? Marlene, Sarah, is it fifth, fourth? I don't even remember.
I think it's four.
I think it's fourth too. Okay. So I know a lot of people watch the recording. So we'll just tell you a little bit about what we're doing in case this is your first time or it's your first time on tonight. My name is Kelly. I'm just sort of putting it together, but it's all of our Zoom, really a space for us to sort of support each other, hold each other accountable during our last 90 days. And what we do on this Zoom is really talk about the specific topic for the week, give some ideas and share with each other and how to support. We also started a little chat group. So if you're interested in being added to the chat group, if you haven't, you can just send me a DM, Kelly John Tuver on Facebook, and I will add you in, or you can send one to the ladies who are already in it. Anybody can add you into the group, and just a place to sort of keep each other inspired and all of those things. So if you have not seen the email or haven't had a chance to look at it, I'm actually really excited to learn from you all tonight about this. I have some feeling that some of you are probably rocking it out at this topic, but I posted it inside the Rachel Hollis Hype group. And so this week is all about eat to feel good. And really talking about, she gave some awesome smoothie recipes in there. So if you're a smoothie person, check those recipes out. There is a ton of them, including her green smoothie recipe, which I've heard her say live, but I've never seen printed before. So it's sort of like we're like getting behind the scenes. I thought that was kind of cool. And then really she gives this really, and I tried to upload this. So if anybody can upload it to the group, that would be awesome. For some reason, it would not allow me to upload because of Adobe. So if anybody has the meal weekly like blank planner and wants to upload it to the group for other people, that would be awesome. We can put it into the units, but I'll just open it up with, what sort of, let's chat a little bit about, striving to be better at preparing our meals, and more so planning like what we're putting in our bodies to help fuel us. And I'm sure there are some people who are really great at this. I have been great at this at different points of my life. And ever since like homeschooling started, it is not, we've been really good at how we eat, like eating very healthy. But I can't say that I'm always like on point with all three meals every single day. Usually dinners, yes. But let's chat about it. Who's got some tips for us or some thoughts about the email?
Well, I haven't read the email yet. I did see it come through. But one thing that I did was I found a 9-inch plate. So what the 9-inch plate does is if you've seen me post any of my pictures, my plate is very full, but it's on a 9-inch plate. And so I'm very good about measuring my leans, measuring my greens, making sure that it's portioned right on my plate, and that's what I get. But I think when we have, like the plates that you have right now are like probably like 10.5-inch plates. Mm-hmm. So what we have a tendency to do is fill those plates. And when we fill those plates, we're so disciplined probably from when we were little that you need to clean your plate. Everything goes on your plate. You need to eat. So when you shrink your plate too, and so you guys can just use like a salad plate. If you change out your bigger dinner plate for a salad plate, then your portions are going to be a lot better. And then of course, you drink your water before and you drink your water after, and every time before you eat, if you're drinking water, that's going to help satiate you and keep you full. But a lot of people will say, I know what to do, I know how to eat, and yet they're struggling. But if you ask them if they're actually measuring what they eat on a scale, they're not. And so if you can measure what you eat on a scale and even use a like fitness tracker on there and put your food in there, you're going to see like where you are on your carbs and your proteins and your macros, and like where your fats are and everything, and your sugars. And there's even like a diagram on there on the MyFitnessPal that will show you how things line up, and you can see where you're out of balance on there. And but I would just really, the smaller meal plate and definitely measuring your meals is going to be very good. And then if you don't plan your day, plan to fail. That's all I can say. So get your stuff. If you have to meal prep on Sundays, get your stuff ready to go before you walk out the door. If you have some sort of meal plan, have backups in case you walk out and forget them, because your choices are limited. And then you have to rely on whatever's out there. And whatever's out there is always not going to line up with your goals. So that would be my advice.
Great advice. I know I switched to that salad plate a few years ago too, and it is a huge help.
Yeah. I think the plates too that they make, if you have small children, Amazon has a lot of fun dishes. So like if you have kids, sometimes it's fun to just use the same dishes that you do, and it has the little pictures of the veggies and the protein and the little things. So sometimes that helps me on a day where I just don't feel like using my usual things. Something I thought a lot about today, though, Melody, giggling a little bit as you're talking about your 9-inch plate, because so I'm Italian American, and Sunday dinner is sacred in my household. So I live far away from my family, so it's also been like this evolution of what that looks like for my family here, because I live in New York, and then the rest of my family's in the Midwest. But in my meal plans, and I've done this for the past year, I also think about not just a food that blesses my body, but I have to have a meal that blesses my spirit or fuels me emotionally, but in a good way. And usually for me, it's Sunday dinner, which some people are like my cheat meal. I don't care for that verbiage around it, because it doesn't feel like a cheat. It's just something like my 3-year-old makes pasta with me. My son today very cutely was like, oh, this is so good, I could die. So you live for these moments of these times. And there was a period of time in my weight loss journey where I was very restrictive, because I had to be to change, to really sustain the changes I made. But I've slowly incorporated this back in my life. So I would just encourage people too, as a tip, to think about, it was very helpful to me to just have something in my weekly plan that blesses me emotionally. And sometimes that's the milkshake, and sometimes it is the splurge, not the cheat, but the splurge. But I think it's totally fine. And in the spirit of that 80-20 or the life balance, I think it's necessary. And then if it's in there, sort of going off of your sort of planning so that you don't fall off the wagon or you don't have big setbacks, you've accounted for it. And for me, I noticed too that I'm mindful in the days before I have that meal planned anyway. So on Sundays is usually a lighter breakfast or a really light lunch, or maybe I do a 14-hour fast, or Sunday mornings I usually run. So whatever it is, but I would encourage people to have that treat in there, or that thing that also fills you up emotionally, if it's something that, because for me, food is love. I know that that's not the case for everybody, but for those fellow people that love food the way that we do in my house, it's important to build it in, I think, and then it's just part of what you do.
That's awesome. Thank you, Sarah. Such good tips. Anybody else have anything?
I'll talk.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm new.
Hi. Welcome.
I've been on the chat with y'all. Heather. I actually I do the meal plan. I do it only though I have a whiteboard in my kitchen, a big old whiteboard, and I divide it in half. So I do my weekly meal plan, and then I do our schedule next to it. Because with my 4 kids, our schedule usually is quite hectic. So what I do is I look at the days and how hectic they are. So I know if I should do a casserole meal that day or a slow cooker meal, and make it a little easier. So I know that we're actually eating food and not fast food. And then the Sundays too, we do those too. And I kind of try to not be so hard on ourselves when we do the Sunday meals, because my parents come over as well. So I don't know. I felt like this was a good meeting to start joining on. But
yeah.
I don't know.
We're so glad you're here. Thank you. I love the idea of the whiteboard. We do that in my house as well. And
well, it's easy too, because when the kids are like, well, what do we have? And I'm like, go look at the whiteboard. Or what do we have to go on? I'm like, go look at I don't do it for me.
I do it for me sometimes because sometimes I forget.
Right. So I can remember everything.
That's so good, Heather. We're glad you're here. Thanks for being a part.
Well, thank you.
So I want to ask, because this is something that I personally am like, when I focus on it, I'm really good at it, but I'm not always like the best planner. So let me ask y'all your tips when you have like breakfasts and lunches, especially when you have kids who either have, like I have a child that eats extremely different than the rest of us due to medical reasons, and then one that is like a typical chicken nugget mac and cheese. So oftentimes there could be 3 or 4 different meals at a meal, like if everybody were to have what they want, which sometimes that happens. So what are y'all's tricks for like breakfast and lunches, like ahead of time? Healthy.
Pinterest. I love Pinterest.
Pinterest?
Yeah. I actually have my daughters doing it too. They'll go on there and they'll look, and we'll save them and we'll try them, and if we don't like them, I get rid of them so I don't redo it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then for I've had a hard time this year just because with everyone being homeschooled, 4 kids, and then me trying to make sure everyone's getting breakfast to lunch. But I used to be really good at it, and I need to go back. This email, because one of my goals has been for us to eat better, so this email kind of really hit home. I used to pre-make a lot of like the breakfast sandwiches and freeze them, and they all loved it, and it was so much healthier. You knew what you were feeding them, so I do want to get back on that too. But
Yeah.
Pinterest, we love Pinterest. We'll go on because sometimes you just get bored of the same food, and we'll just look up different recipes. Or I haven't done it, but my cousin told me there was an app where you literally type in stuff you have in your fridge and it'll give you a meal. I don't know what the name is. I'll have to look it up, and I can put it in the chat. I'll ask her what it is. She said, but you literally just put in what you have in your house, what you want to use up. Say you got food it's going to start going bad or something, or you just need an idea. She said, you just type in what you want and it'll give you a few different ideas.
That's awesome. Yeah, share that.
I'll ask her and I'll put it in that chat group.
Perfect. Thank you.
I'm pretty boring. Monday through Friday, at least. I don't know if you were asking about the whole house or just yourself, Kelly, but
no, not me. I'm the easy one.
Yeah, I mean, because
like
I eat the same
kids.
thing every day. Yeah, I feel like I always have like fruit salad, and that looks different depending on who's in my house. So I usually, some like oranges, some won't eat the grapes, some won't eat this thing, but I feel like fruit salad's always available. My kids love like bagels and cream cheese. It's like typical New Yorkers. Not myself, but my kids are. So, but I've switched them out to like whole wheat. So like one side, I just have certain whole grains, fruit in the house, and protein, just because when they're little, they need all the things if you can get it in them. And I find that in my household, like I'll put the effort into like a bigger breakfast, and sort of have it ready the night before, so it's in the fridge. So like the pancakes and the sausage or whatever the thing is, and then the fruit, and I just sort of have everything ready to go. We're pretty regimented though and boring about that. So it's not a lot of variety, but I feel like where it switches off then is like with snacks and then dinner. We try to be a little more creative, and they just sort of have gotten used to that monotony of that.
That's good. Thank you.
Really cool way to like make breakfast and stuff is like, I know you guys have seen them. Like you take like a mini muffin pan or a muffin pan, and you can like the ham on the bottom, and then you can fill it with the egg whites and the cheese and all that, and you can bake that, or you can, put some protein powder or something and make like muffins so they get their protein in there, or you can buy like the Kodiak pancake mix, and at least that they're getting something in there. And then just kind of, limit the sweet stuff, and because they don't really need the sugar, there's sugar in everything. And so if you can at least get the protein, like Sarah was saying, you can at least get the protein in there, then that, I've noticed with my daughter, like my husband, he'll give her like Eggo waffles and, maple syrup and, chocolate chips. And then if I'm home, I'll give her something else that's different that has more protein or something in there. And she told me one day, and she's 13, she's like, I said, do you notice a difference when you're at school? She goes, yeah, I do. I notice a big difference. I notice I have a lot more clearer head and more energy when I eat this rather than this. And I said, okay, well, we need to get that protein in you. So so just finding a way to get it in there, and you can, like, those protein powders or anything in there is definitely whatever they'll eat, cheese or eggs or the meat, just whatever way you can get it in there, help their brains.
We definitely don't have memberships to the Clean Plate Club. I feel like that was something, like, I think just for those of us, I'm in our probably 40s and older, you probably had parents raised in that generation where everyone was so obsessed with, like, eating everything on your plate. But we do have the rule of, like, good food first. So if the kid wants to reach for the Rice Krispie treat or something else, like, the rule is good food first, whatever that is. And I think a great conversation I had with our pediatrician too is he reminded me, especially for tiny humans, like, Sarah, if they eat like a handful of food, that's good for them. Even if it's a cup of broccoli every single day, and that's the one handful of healthy food, they're good to go. So I think most of us think about the habits, probably, like, if I'm hearing other people, like, trying to set the tone for, like, healthier relationships with food. I joke with my mother and I'm like, please don't give the grandson in the Midwest, like, the bowl of cereal at night that you used to make me eat when I was hungry. Like, eat the cereal at 9 p.m. It'll fill you up overnight. So I think most of us are trying to, like, build better habits, but I also think, again, just giving some grace and balancing it out, knowing, like, if you get a little, like, minimum requirement in, it just has to be good enough.
That's a great point. I like that. Healthy food first.
I wrote that down. Because my daughter likes the noodles, and she'll go for that first. I'm going to say, hey, eat the healthy food. I always eat the healthy food first, just because I like it myself, but
yeah,
she likes the noodles.
That's good.
We all like the noodles. Who doesn't love the noodles?
I bought the palmini to have those, and that was a good change. So it's like hearts of palm, but I guess it was on Shark Tank, but they have it in linguine, and they have it in angel hair, and they have it in lasagna. So it's good.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love Shark Tank.
I know.
So how's everybody feel about, like, we're getting ready to go into the last week of, like, the first month, almost a third down. I mean, how's everybody feeling about where they're at and motivated for their goals and their 5 to Thrive? Is everybody feeling strong? Everybody's like,
I feel like it's been, and I've seen some people in the chat talk about it too, like, something about this round of the 90 days just feels awkward. And I'm just going to chalk it up to pandemic times, because I feel like we're all in the most atypical, like, schedules we've ever been in, and everything has shifted and all the pivots. So I've been thinking a lot about, like, having to, like, also adjust. I use the priority planner. Like, so for example, like, I had to start shifting it to, like, on a Monday rather than on a Sunday, because of the meatball eating and because of the red wine on Sundays, and I used to have a weigh-in on Monday and Weight Watchers and that type of thing. I just had to shift everything by a day, which really helped me the last week, like, feel like I was much more on track. So rather than feeling like I was having, like, 2, 3, sometimes 4 days that didn't go as planned, this way I feel like I've had, like, my day, and then I start fresh, and I've just had to shift it. So I feel like it's been harder. And I'm just assuming it's the pandemic, but I'm curious to know if other people have experienced it to feel different this time around, if you've done it before.
I think that a lot of that is structure. It's just everything is out of structure in the world. And so it's so hard to, like, it's around everything. I mean, you can't, you can't walk out the door with people not being behind a mask, so you can't see anybody's facial expressions. There's no smiles out there anymore. It's just, everything is so weird. And so like, I just feel like I'm doing the things, and I know that's kind of like a little plateau right now, and it will be fine. But yeah, almost like I noticed myself starting to sway a little bit, and I have to keep pulling myself back on track. But it's like my word this year, the whole year has been structure. And so I keep getting tested on it, and pandemic did not help.
Definitely have to pivot a structure like every other week, it feels like.
I'm going to blame homeschool.
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
I am 110% going to blame homeschooling. It is so hard, and it makes I feel some days like I've failed completely. Just because you're trying to help them and then you don't get an answer, or you can't answer your 6th grade's question because I'm like, I didn't learn math that way, and I'm trying to Google it and help them. And then he's like, well, you're still not doing it. I'm like, well, I've never done it this way, so I don't even know if I'm doing it right or wrong. But then I have an 11th grader, a 9th grader, an 8th grader, and a 6th grader, and I'm home with them all day, and I babysit. So homeschooling has messed me up. It's just messed me up. It's messed my schedule up. But I do honestly feel like this past month, getting back on track, one of my biggest goal is I feel like I stopped after 90 days. Like I don't know how to explain it. I just feel like I stopped it. Like the 90-day challenge had a purpose. And then because the challenge was over, I quit almost. I kind of feel like it. So my goal is I don't care what 2021 throws at us. Dear God, please nothing worse than what we've already went through. But I don't care what it is. I want to stay on track. So I feel like October, I'm doing pretty good. In one of the chats you guys had, I watched, someone said, who cares if one day, you don't get to check off all of your 5 to thrive. So I kind of, as long as I'm trying, I feel like, okay, I'm doing good.
That's good.
But when when we have half days, I really feel like I'm doing good. Or if we have no school on those days, yes, mom can do a lot better. But we're doing it together. Homeschooling is my biggest trouble. It's hard. That's my biggest. It's just messing me up a lot.
Could you, Heather, could you try to incorporate any of the things that you need for you as a mom into the homeschool day, like with your kids?
What do you mean?
So like, I know one of the things, because I only have 2 at home, and that's a struggle enough. And so I know one of the things that we started doing was like, I wasn't getting enough like gratitude journaling and devotion time. And so we started like making that part of how we start our school day. And so like, we just incorporated it. It was really a little bit selfish for me, but it's also really great for them to learn and sort of develop a morning routine. So I don't know, could you do anything that you feel like you're missing and incorporate it in and make it more of like a part of your homeschool day?
Yeah. It's funny that you said that, because I was just telling my daughter right before the Zoom meeting, I said, I'm doing a Zoom meeting, and she's like, that's so cool, Mom. And then she's like, I want to start doing this stuff with you. So maybe we could, they get up early with me some mornings, because I have my kids do chores too before school, whether it be their dishes or whatever. So even if, scratch the chore, let's do the gratitude instead, and then we'll figure it out at lunchtime, the chores we got to do, or, in the evening. But yeah, I like that idea. And especially when she was like, I wouldn't mind doing this with you, teach her too, and maybe show how, I don't know, maybe a little more appreciation, because that's what I told them. I'm like, look, you guys, I love you, but we are in this together. Please stop talking to me like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing, like if we all look at our childhood, I mean, I don't know y'all's childhood, but if I look at, mine and most people that are, within adult age bracket, if we were taught the things that we're all trying to develop, now, and that, the morning routines and all of these things, like imagine if we were taught that as children, and it not just taught it, but it was like part of what you had to do in the morning to like live in this house. Then, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like it sets you up so much to be a successful adult, So yeah. I don't know. Just a thought, Heather. Maybe try it and see.
No, that's a good one. I like it. Thank you.
My plan is to keep building on it. Like we have 2 things.
Yeah.
Let's keep building on it. But if I hit them with everything, they may throw tomatoes at me.
with everything we've been through, what is it, 2 months into it now, I've got to the point where if they're upset and I'm upset, we're looking at each other and we're wanting to pull our hair, and school's still going. I look at them, I say, okay, shut the laptop, we're done. And they'll say, well, school's still going. No, if it's upsetting us this much, we're done. They're recorded lessons. We can go back and we can look at it. I just went out and brought a printer for us this weekend. So it's, they can print their assignments too. I'm trying to make it a little easier on all of us. I'm like, because we're in this until January, guys. So, and I have realized when I'm getting stressed, I snack more and I hate it.
Yeah. Anyone else? No? Well, I just want to give everybody some encouragement. I know I've had like conversations with different community members and some of you guys, but I think that us just I'm proud of everybody for being here and holding ourselves accountable. And I know one thing that I always just share, like keep it top of mind to myself, is that if you have a day where you're not as successful, or like Sarah was saying, hey, like I needed to shift things around so I don't feel like, that feeling where you're like, oh, today I did not do a good job. And if you let that feeling carry over till tomorrow, and then it becomes 2 days and then 3 days. But if you can just remember to wake up, and part of what Rachel's email was saying this week is like, you don't have to be like the best. You just want to be a little bit better than yesterday. And I always think to myself, like, what if you were 0.1% better? Like at the end of every month, that adds up, it adds up and it keeps adding up and it keeps adding up. And by the end of the year, you're like light years ahead of where you would have been if you just focus on just a little. And when you fall off, you don't allow yourself to stay off, you jump back on. And so regardless of what the first, few weeks of this challenge has been, we can all recommit to tonight to maybe one of the things that has fallen off, or maybe one of the other things that we can challenge ourselves to do better at this week, and really just focus on that specific thing. So that's a little encouragement. Anyone else want to share anything? Everybody's a little quiet tonight. Marlene, would you like to talk?
I don't know what to say. Heather, are you you're homeschooling, like you're the teacher, or virtual learning?
I am definitely not the teacher. I'm helping with what the teachers send.
Yeah.
I'm not the teacher.
Because they should have like, little after school places where they can go and get, questions answered. Because
it's after hours. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Well, my oldest has given me a run for my money, so we're playing catch up with that one, and he does use the after hours, but then even after hours, I'm still trying to help him. So, but the hard part for us right now, it seems to be some of the meetings, you can't always get into them. It's not the teachers, it's the freaking technology. You can't get into the meetings, or you get in and then you get backed out, or you're sitting in the waiting room. It's just so hard. And I think it's partially because of all the devices we have running in our house. But like I said, I feel like we're 2 months into it, finally starting to get somewhere. Email a lot lately seems to be working the best, and I'll let them know like that I'm emailing because we can't get in the meeting. Or a few of the teachers, thank God, have called and been like, what's going on? We see you guys trying to get in. I'm like, I have no clue, but they're really nice. And they're like, well, we see you're trying to get in, so we're not giving him a bad grade, but if he needs help, here's my personal number.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of communication right now, and that's almost overwhelming too, because it's all on me. Like, here I am saving teachers' numbers, and I'm like, I never in a million years thought I'd be saving their cell phone number. But I don't know. This week went pretty good, and I'm hoping that buying the printer this week helps us a lot more. It's set up, it's ready to go. My kids are happy. They're like, this is gonna help us so much. Thank you, Mom. So fingers crossed.
Yeah. Good.
And I'm a stress eater, so I mean, these last few months it's been hard. I'm like, keep the snacks out of the house or away from Mom, or give me a banana.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right, you guys.
With that morning just routine in general. I mean, I get up at like 5:30. I'm a teacher. to get to work and get the kids out and lunch packed and whatever. And I'm not getting to the gratitude journal, which starts the day already. So, I know the piece of get up earlier, and I'm thinking, I can't get up.
Yeah, so maybe Carrie,
I
for
have a
you, maybe
suggestion.
do it at night. Maybe you do it at night or a different time of day. Again, I had to shift so many things to sort of capture the essence of the challenge to make it work for me right now, because nothing about the way that I did it before was happening that way this time around.
I'm definitely trying to schedule it. Like I'm trying to do it at lunch because of my lunch break, like the way I could eat lunch by myself and do my journaling at the same time. So that's when I've tried to incorporate it. And my goal, honestly, is like if I can get it in 3 to 4 days a week. Like that's kind of the piece of the goal, because I'm in IEP meetings or whatever during my lunches for most of those parts too. So I've found that that's got to be the time, but I do feel it like in the summer since I'm the teacher and I'm in the summertime able to do it in the morning, it does set your day a whole different route. I do appreciate that morning time.
Carrie, have you ever thought about recording like yourself just talking your gratitude? So like when I'm imagining like you're driving to work, and I don't know if you're in the car alone or not, but you could just do there's an app called Tape a Call, or you could just record yourself and just do your gratitude verbally.
I like that idea. I'm going to try that.
You know, you're getting it in the morning, and how cool would that be to have like a little like verbal gratitude? You know, you can listen back. I don't know. You could do it as like a video on your phone and just put it in an album, or you could get some sort of app. There's all sorts of apps out there I'm sure you could grab.
Well, not only that, but if I wanted to because it's always like, oh, I don't have my pen, or oh, I don't have my paper. I could sit here for a second, and you always have your phone just for emergency pieces. I like that idea. And then if I really felt like I wanted to log it through a journal that way instead, I could have it so I'm not thinking about it at 10 at night. You know what I mean? Like by the time the day is over, I want to say gratitude, but I'm not clear. I'm thinking about the next day. So that would help. I like that idea. Thanks, Kelly.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I use my phone throughout the whole day. If I feel grateful for something, I put it in my phone all day, and then I send it to myself. And I actually really like doing it that way. I mean, it's some days there's 3, 2, 1. Other days there's 5, 6, 7. Yesterday one was something, watching my daughter do her soccer goal. Me and my husband got some alone time at a Halloween party, or his silly costume. Some days it's chock full of things, and then other day. But I like, because like you guys said, you always have your phone on you. So if you find something you're grateful, log it, and it's right there. It's a lot, for me, it's a lot easier too.
Are you using the app, or are you
No, I just literally text it to myself.
Okay.
I actually
didn't even know that app. I might look for it.
I have a gratitude page that I have on Facebook. It's like got like, I think maybe 500 members. If anyone wants to join that, you can. It's like 3 other people writing stuff.
Can you put those in the chat, and then we can just screenshot the chat what the name of that app was, and your Facebook page would be awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Marlene.
I just do my gratitude in the morning because I get up so early, because I've told you guys, if you weren't on last time, but I got to be to work at like tomorrow, I have to be to work at 3 a.m. But usually like 3:30, 3 a.m. all week. But that's my God time. And while I'm driving, I'm so thankful for the Bluetooth technology, because when people see me talking to myself all the way to work, they just assume I'm on the phone. But I have my gratitude time at that time. I'm just like, thank you, God, and I just think about the things that happen. And one thing that I love that Rachel talks about is when you do your gratitude, it should be, which makes it more difficult, something that happened the day before. Like, what are you grateful for the day before? It really makes you think about the little things instead of like, I'm thankful for water, which I am. I'm thankful for a flushing toilet, which I am. But if my toilet backed up and it was unplugged, then I would be using that as gratitude. But you know, just all those little things, but just having that time. And then when I get to work, I'm like, feel good. I feel real good today. It's early in the morning, but I'm ready to go and I'm smiling and, you know, but yeah, that's when I have it. But I do record it on voice memo every once in a while if I need to remember something. Like if I want to do a Facebook post, I'm always fresh in the morning. And by the time I get off work, I'm like, what was that I was going to do? I can't even remember. And if I voice memo it, then I can go back and go. Then of course it's never, I never can recapture where I was, which is why I can't wait to retire in April because I can have my mornings back. But the voice memo is very nice. Yeah. Definitely.
Marlene, is the like picture on your group a feather?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to ask.
All right, you guys. Well, it's about 6:08. So my daughter has to use this Zoom in like 15 minutes for her 7th grade life group. So yeah, so we moved it to Sunday nights because their other time wasn't working. So, but y'all, I'm so happy that we had time together tonight. You know, continue to encourage the other members if they want to hop on with us or to continue to go down this journey. I know heading into like Halloween is sometimes really challenging for people to sort of get off task. So, but we'll see y'all next Sunday night. And I know we talked last week that we're going to continue going on through them through November and hopefully through December too. So thanks for all the encouragement y'all are offering in the chat too.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Good to see you guys. Have a good rest of your night.